Everybody, we start our press conference, which is dedicated to the World Day of Fighting Hemophilia, and we called it 7 last minutes of life without coagulation preparations. This is the time that, within 7 times, a life of a person can end without coagulation preparations. So today in this audience we see children who are affected with hemophilia and their parents. So here are Nona, who is affected by hemophilia, and her mom, Nina Astaforova-Yatsenko. Conference will symbolically last for only 7 minutes, and then you will be able to talk to Nina or other parents who are here in the first row. You can talk to them. If you won't be able to film the visualization, then we will go to the entrance to the Ukrainian house and you will be able to film it. So that's how we will work, and the floor goes to Nina. This is a symbolic blood which will within 7 minutes drip out, and this is how the life of a child can go when there's no preparation for coagulation. So today, on the 17th of April, is the World Day of Fighting Hemophilia, and today we parents of kids who are affected with this disease have united in order to save lives of our children, and we address the Prime Minister Yatsenyuk with a demand so that he takes personal responsibility for the life of our children, which is constantly totally dependent on the state. The diagnosis of hemophilia is, of course, a shock for entire family, for parents, and people start to look for information how people live with such a diagnosis, and they find a rather good information, because with constant support, with preparations, this life does not differ from lives of other people. They can learn, they can get a job, they can work, and then people start to find out how this situation is in Ukraine with the medicines, and here they are confronted with a real shock, because there are no such preparations in Ukraine. What the state purchases is barely enough for the first aid, and not even to mention that to enable our kids to avoid a wheelchair. By 18 years, our kids become totally disabled people. If they are even lucky enough to live until they are 18, they are sentenced to confront very serious pain, and they are crying out loud because of pain for entire days on end, and we cannot help them because there are no preparations in our country. And the doctors have to reduce our kids into artificial coma, because there are no medicines to stop the blood which goes into the throat, and this happens. This happened, for instance, in Novakhovka. In fact, it is rather simple to avoid such situations. If you regularly, 2 or 3 times a week, introduce this preparation into people's bodies, you can avoid blood spillage. And we are talking, of course, about those who are lucky enough to remain alive after such cases. If our kids receive preparation in the full volume, as it happens in European or other countries of the world, in Israeli army, some people serve in the army with such diagnosis. There's a professional bicycle racer in Great Britain who is diagnosed with hemophilia. Now I ask you about the children of the parents of healthy children. Are you going to give a preparation with an expired term to our children? Of course, you would say no, but we, the parents of children with hemophilia, would say yes, we don't have any other choice. We only can get unused preparations of hemophiliacs from other countries where they have some leftovers, and they pass those preparations to our children. In 99 cases out of 100, this preparation is with already expired term, or it is expiring at the moment, and our only choice is to either accept this preparation with an expired term or see how or watch our children die before our eyes. And these preparations are not sold in pharmacies. We are constantly dependent on the state on this. As a result of this, 100% of our children become disabled. At the moment, you see how blood goes out of this device, and you cannot stop it. It does not depend on us, and just the same with us. Any blood spillage from our children does not depend on us. And we, in the same way, are just watching how blood flows out of our children. But if we compare we cannot compare children's lives to any expenditure or any devices. So now we are demanding from the Prime Minister to make public the terms of purchase and the volumes of purchase of necessary medicines and preparations for the next year, for this year. And we also demand the full scope purchase of this country so that our children, while living in this country and being patriots of this country, can live here and get education and work to the benefit of this country, not to sit in a wheelchair or life support chair and to get some miserable support.
Dear colleagues, you can ask questions to people who sit in the front row, and our next briefing will be at 11 o'clock. Thank you.